Hi everybody, I'm Sarah and I'm an alcoholic. I'm going to start to tear up a little bit already. I don't know what it is today. I've known I was going to do this for a while, and I feel like I just did one, and I do them a lot. And something about today has really got me. I don't know if it's nerves or what it is, or if it's just Sarah getting in her own way and not taking my hands off things and allowing my higher power to do what needs to be done and to work through me so that somebody can hear something maybe that might help them tonight. My sobriety date is July 10th, 2019, and I'm going to try to tell you what it was like, what happened, and what it's like now. And I always say that it might not be in that particular order because I squirrel around a lot in life, period, and I also have this really weird thing going on right now where I'll be in the middle of saying something or talking about something and just totally just forget or lose it. So that could happen too. So just bear with me. So I was born in Hamilton, Ohio. It's about 45 minutes in between Dayton and Cincinnati. And I had a younger brother and a single mom. Dad left when I was 4 and John was 2. And that has always really kind of, I felt like, defined who I was. I always have had this fear that people were going to leave, and fear of being abandoned, and that thread is woven all throughout my story. It's something that I still today have to really humbly ask God to remove from me because it still can creep up sometimes. I had a good childhood. Everywhere around me there was alcohol, except for at my grandparents, my dad's parents. My mom drank, and I could say today that I'm not in really place to tell anybody if they're an alcoholic or an addict. That's everybody's own personal walk and journey. But knowing what I know today, and also previously attending a lot of Al-Anon, I could say that my mom probably had a drinking problem if she wasn't an alcoholic. She was in a lot of pain, and I see that today as a grown woman. I can see raising 2 children on her own, and my dad leaving for another woman. All of those things really took a toll on her. She worked for the adult probation department. My grandfather was the chief of adult probation. And I came from a military family. My dad was in the Navy later in life. My grandfather, 2 uncles. So there was a lot of structure, rules, and sometimes a little over the top. Like when you take off your shoes, they have to go toe-to-toe. It was one of my grandma's favorite rules. And if you saw my shoes today, you would know that I did not pay much attention to that rule later on in life. So my family, my mom and her sisters, and even my dad's sister, there was always alcohol around, a lot of it. And I watched adults having fun when alcohol was around. Laughing, music, people. It was just electrifying to me. It excited me just being in the room as a little kid, running around with everybody, just having a great time. So as I got into my, I don't know, around 14 years old, probably 12 when I had my first drink, and then 14 when I started using marijuana. I do have drugs in my story too, so if that offends anybody in here, I know most of you and it doesn't, but if it does, I apologize. I was really spent a lot of time with my father's parents, and I went to a parochial school. I went to a Lutheran school, 1st through 6th grade. I went to church. I went to youth group. I grew up knowing that there was a God, believing that there was a God, praying to God as a little girl, memorizing things, and my grandmother was a woman of extreme faith, in a way that wasn't like a Bible-thumping religious, but like it was just how she loved others and how she lived her life. And I loved her fiercely, and I tried to be like her every day. I lost her, and to be honest, I don't remember the year, and it's a problem. 2014, maybe. I was too drunk on wine to get to the hospital to say goodbye, which I know was my higher power doing for me what I couldn't do for myself, because I had no business being at the hospital that day. So anyway, back to my teen years. I did really well in school. I got good grades. So junior year, I really had enough credits to graduate, and senior year was just kind of like playing around, skipping school. I started to get involved with people who I thought were like the cool kids, who were drinking and smoking pot and partying and doing all of those things. And I always felt this whole time going through, there was always that piece of me that clung on to people because I was afraid that they would leave. And it didn't really matter if they were good or bad or did good things or bad things. It really just didn't matter. It was about just this need to be loved by other people. And I never really truly loved myself. And I would do just about anything to be accepted. And that's what I did. So right after I graduated high school, it was about, 5 days or so after I graduated high school, my grandmother called me. I was getting ready to go to work, and she called and said that I needed to get to the hospital. My mom was sick again. And my mom, about a week, 2 weeks prior to that, had been in the hospital for some tingling in her face and things, and they'd run some tests, and she pretty much told them that she needed to get out of the hospital. She was going to throw my graduation party, so she had to leave. So they let her out, and then 2 weeks later, she was at work and dropped dead of a massive heart attack. So that changed the trajectory of my life in so many different ways. Any spiritual connection I had, any belief in God, anything like that was gone the minute that happened. I can remember the day it happened, and I can remember saying to God, "Who does this?" Speaking to someone who I didn't believe in was there, yet I still spoke the words. And I walked away that day from God. As I went on in my journey, I kind of felt that there was something bigger than me, but I really didn't care, and I definitely didn't think that there was a God that loved me. And again, the abandonment issues and the fear of people leaving, that was just fueled by the fact that I was 17 and just lost my mom. My little brother was 15 years old, and I was going to go to Kent State, and that weekend was going to go look at dorms, and decided instead that I would stick around and do community college, and because I wanted to be with my brother, who was kind of in a fight or a battle, if he was going to stay with my dad or my grandparents. Dad was in and out of our lives, and we have 2 older stepbrothers, and we always felt kind of that cared about those kids and not us, and that was another place where I felt like I didn't fit in. When I would go see that family, I felt like I didn't fit in. Even though I was my dad's biological daughter, I didn't fit there. So I decided to stay with my grandparents, and my brother kind of hopped around a little bit. There's a part of my story that happens right now that I don't share very often. And maybe this is why I have felt a little bit off today and preparing to say this, but there is something that has told me yesterday and in dream, for some reason that I needed to share it. And I don't know if it's for me or it's for somebody in here, I don't know. But I don't usually share it very often in my meetings. I had started dating a guy who I was 17, he was probably 21 years old, right my high school, senior year, and he was kind of a bad boy. They were robbing some jewelry stores and doing, lots of cocaine and, just some gangsters, right? Really cool. So I would leave my house and go meet him on the corner because he had a car and all the things. And so about 4 months after my mom passed away, I was living with my grandparents, and I found out that I was pregnant. And I made the decision not only to terminate the pregnancy and have an abortion. I did that without telling the father. He knew nothing. He might know now because when I turned about 25, he died of a cocaine overdose. So I carried that secret with me. There was one girl who knew, my best friend, and she took me, and it was the only person who knew for years. I'm talking, I don't know, maybe late 20s, early 30s. I never spoke a word of it to anybody, and I carried it. And I, of course, thought that I was being punished because of it. Because the God that I had believed in and then thought wasn't there, didn't exist, now existed and hated me, and I hated myself. But the work that I've done on that through the steps of the program of Alcoholics Anonymous has led me to a place where I'm able to forgive myself, to know that at the time I was doing the best that I could with what I had, or what I thought I had, or what I knew. And had I told my grandparents and family, would I have been supported? Absolutely. I know that I would have, and I know that today. But I was a scared teenage girl. The partying had started by then because I was attending the community college, which was 13th grade, and that's really, honestly, that played a huge part in why I decided to terminate the pregnancy too, because it was going to get in the way of my partying. How could I go to these houses and bong beers when I was pregnant? Because I did that for a while up until the day of the appointment. That played a part in it. And I am not proud of that, but that's part of my story. And it kept me sick for a really, really long time. The partying got out of control. The cocaine increased because it helped me drink more, helped me stay up longer. I hated to go to sleep at night. And so that continued on until my 30s, when I was able to pretty much walk away from that. Just stopped being around the people I was hanging out with. It wasn't something I was seeking out, and it just kind of fell into the background. But the drinking never did. I became a daily drinker probably, late 20s, maybe early 30s. Every single day. And there's a lot that happened that's led up, drunken stories, and I don't need to really qualify myself. We all, want to give a drunk-a-log. But things just continued like that. I had gotten in a relationship and gotten engaged, and that fell apart. And that fell apart because of my drinking and my choices that I would make, and not come home. And it was always like this self-sabotage. I did it all my life. And if I could screw things up before you screwed it up for me, if I could cause you to be mad and leave, then I had a reason. I knew why then that was going to happen, other than one day just be blindsided at the fact that somebody decided that they were going to just up and go. So I self-sabotaged, and I had a good job. I worked for the Job and Family Services at 18, 19 years old, and that was one thing all through my drinking career, through all of this. I maintained employment. There was a period of a couple of years where I relied on someone else, but for the most part, I worked basically just so that I had money to buy alcohol. I had to. And it got to a point later in life where I had to have alcohol before I could go to work. I had to have alcohol while I was at work, because I could go maybe an hour, before I would start to shake, before I would start to go into withdrawals. That's how much I was drinking. And so if I was going to work, I was going to have to drink too. So, like I said, in my 20s, that relationship ended, and then it was just one bad one after another, because again, I was clinging to people that I thought would fill me up, this hole inside of me that needed to be filled with something, and I couldn't figure out what it was, and I tried everything. I was in several 2 to 3 year relationships where they were alcoholic or addicted to some kind of drug, and always usually put their hands on me. I've had broken ribs. I've had staples in my head. I just was treated like a rag doll, and I thought that that was okay for a long time. I would say I was 2016. I was drinking like 6 Four Locos a day, and sometimes with some real cheap bottle of plastic cheap vodka too. That's kind of what was going on. And I was noticing I was starting to throw up blood. My stomach had started to distend really bad, and I was having some pains. And I knew I was an alcoholic way long time before I accepted that I was an alcoholic. And I knew I was having health problems because of alcohol. But it did something for me. Today, my higher power does for me what I can't do for myself. But what I used to think was that alcohol was doing for me what I couldn't do for myself. It helped me in social situations. It calmed me down. It helped me celebrate. It helped me when I was sad. It helped on any day that ended in a Y. You know, if I had money, if I didn't have money, if I had friends, it didn't matter. It was my master. I started to get very sick, and I went to the hospital. And it was good that I went at the time that I did, because I found out that I was in acute liver failure, stage 3 renal failure. I was so dehydrated they couldn't get any fluid into my veins, and they had to put a PICC line into my heart. I was losing blood everywhere, and had to have 5 blood transfusions and plasma transfusions. And I spent 19 days in critical care in 2016. And when I got out, I lasted maybe 3 weeks to a month. And being told by the doctors, if you take one more drink of alcohol, you're gonna die. This is going to kill you. And I knew it, and I believed it, but something in me didn't care. Something in me thought that I was going to be able to control it, or that there was a way around it, or, oh, this isn't going to really happen to me. And I was mad that I had to stop drinking because I didn't want to stop drinking. And so I drank again. And the first time that I picked up the bottle, I drank an entire bottle of Absolute and found myself sideswiping a car and ditching the car and running through a graveyard to get away from the cops. And I did. But when I look back on that today, the irony that's where I had found myself again immediately. And that's where I was headed, was the graveyard. The drinking, though, continued on for 3+ years. I moved to Salina, which is kind of what brings me up this way. I had met someone who was like, oh, I drive trucks, this is a great place, whatever. And so, yeah, I'll go. And I had been hospitalized a couple times after that. And I got to Salina, and I was doing some controlled drinking, just glasses of wine here or there. And that didn't last for very long. And again, another hospital stay. Again, liver failure. And I remember a doctor coming in and telling me, you probably will never have children. And something about that just set off in me again what I had done when I was 17 years old. And the fact that I hadn't had kids up until then, and I'm 40 years old, whatever, not quite, 35, 36, or whatever. And he said that to me. And everything came rushing back, because for a long time what the alcohol did was allowed me to block any feelings, to stuff everything. And because I didn't want to think about it, and I didn't want to deal with it. And that brought that back. Anyway, so I found myself then, and there's so much in between, and there's a lot of running to different states and all of those things, but it's neither here nor there. So I decided that I was going to try the House of Hope. Someone from Foundations said, why don't you give sober living a try? and this is after I had tried a 30-day rehab, and I lasted, and I got out, and I was drunk maybe 2 days later. Slapped with an alcohol monitoring bracelet because when I went to court for the DUI that I got on the way to rehab, they smelled alcohol on me. So after all of that, I decided, yes, I would go to the House of Hope. I knew no one in this town, and it was probably the best decision of my life, even though I didn't stay there either. I got drunk a couple times. Once they were okay with, and then after that, they weren't kind of frowned on not being sober in a sober living house, and I ran from there. But while I was there, what happened was I was introduced to a recovering community. I was told that I had to go to meetings, and I had tried Alcoholics Anonymous. I had went there in 2011, my very first meeting ever. And I was given a big book at some IOP classes I had to take, and I saw myself in the big book because I would read it, and I would read it while I was drinking. I would highlight things in it while I was drinking. I saw myself all through it. But anyway, so House of Hope started getting me to meetings. I had to make connections. I had to find rides. I had to get phone numbers. And I started to dabble in the steps a little bit. And I met Joni and a lot of people that are sitting in here that played a huge part in my sobriety. Jim and Kevin and Katie. And there's some House of Hope people in here that, funny, yesterday I was like, wait a second, is that guy? I think I was at the House of Hope when he was at the House of Hope. Yeah, CJ, right? Yeah. So I was there maybe 3 months, 2 or 3 months. And then I found myself with my sponsor, who allowed me to come and stay with her and Jim. And like she said, we're told in this program, don't get too close, and you shouldn't do things like that. We're not bankers, we're not relationship counselors, we're none of those things, and we're not. But sometimes, had that not happened for me, I probably wouldn't be standing here today. And I was grateful, but I really wasn't either. I was grateful in my heart, but my actions didn't really match. And I'm an alcoholic, and I wasn't done, and I was pissed. I did not want to stop. So I picked back up again, and I lied to them, and I hid it from them, and I met Brent, and I made Brent my higher power, because this is what I needed. A good guy who's sober, not to mention just because he just got out of prison, and for a really long time, and so, there was still that little bad boy there. That was okay, can't give it all up. And needless to say, that didn't work. It never works. I'm not saying relationships don't work, because today we're married, and we're getting ready to celebrate our 5-year wedding anniversary. And we've been together about 8, I think, 7, 8. And it's one of the biggest blessings that's happened to me in sobriety, the biggest. And that's not telling anybody to run out and find somebody in the rooms to get into a relationship with. Because there are reasons that that's a bad idea, and I can tell you why, because I did make him my higher power. And I potentially could have brought him down with me because I was selfish. Because as an alcoholic, I was self-centered, and the thought of helping others or what others might be sacrificing for me didn't really even cross my mind, and if it did, I really didn't care. So I continued on, and I'd show up for meetings, and I would have alcohol in my purse, or I would be drinking. I have stood up and I've given a lead after drinking, twice actually. Again, something I'm not proud of. At all. It's something that I always say, that there are outside consequences, there are external consequences. I had 4 DUIs. I had nothing left of my life other than what would fit in my banged up little Nissan. I was bankrupt in all areas of my life, externally, and that was hard. But when I started to add on internally what I was doing to myself, once I had been shown this program, and people let me live with them, allowed me in their homes, and I would say yes to give a lead, and I wasn't sober, and I'd stand up and talk to people, having had drinks. That was mentally, I was such a liar. I was a thief, I was a cheat, not in the exact terms of the word, but I was in a place that it caused me to even hate myself more. And I won't say that I didn't know how to stop, because I'd been shown how to stop. Everybody in here showed me that. Everybody loved me, but I just wasn't willing to do the work. And there's a saying that meeting makers make it. Okay. But meeting makers make it when they work the program. I can go to a bunch of meetings. I can show up and look good, say things that sound good. But if I'm not working the program, it doesn't matter if I go to 90 meetings in 90 days. I have to be doing the work. And even if the work in the beginning, because I don't know what to do with the steps, even if the work is just picking up the phone when I'm having a bad day, like everybody told me to. But I didn't want to tell people that I was struggling. And I think today I've realized that part of that was because I felt like if I didn't show up here and I didn't show up sober, that nobody here was going to love me either. And I had found basically the last place in the world where people I felt cared about me. And I did not want to lose that. And so it's ironic that I would think that, not saying I need help would be the thing that would keep people around. I know today that that's the exact opposite. Asking for help is one of the most important things that I can do, even in sobriety today. Wow. So, fast forward 2019, what I hope to be my very last hospital stay for alcoholism. And I went and stayed in Portland at a behavioral unit that was attached at the time to the hospital for 5 days. And there I asked my higher power if I could come back, and I knew the answer. And I had started to make a connection because I had pieces of sobriety in there from the House of Hope on to my actual sobriety date. There were chunks that I had, and there were steps that I had worked, and I was maintaining conscious contact, and but I wasn't taking all of it. I wasn't doing everything that was suggested, just what Sarah wanted to do, just skimming the top a little bit. So I got out of that behavioral health unit, and I started to work this program with the same hunger and desire that I had had for the drink and drugs. I threw it into the program of Alcoholics Anonymous in recovery. I woke up in the morning. I worked for an eye doctor. I woke up in the morning. I had to leave the house at 7 to get to St. Henry, and I would put on a lead on YouTube, and I would listen to it. And when I got in the car, I would finish listening to it after work, and I would head over to Joni's house, and I would hit a Mercer County meeting, or I would go straight to a Mercer County meeting, or and I would get home every night at about 10 o'clock, and Brent worked second shift. And I did that every day for a really, really long time. Years, at least a year. Meetings and step work, and I had been given the gift of desperation. I knew I was going to die, and I really, truly didn't want to die. And I had known I was an alcoholic, but I finally accepted it. It moved from my head to my heart. And I had decided to let people in my life and allow them to help me and to surrender and to turn my will and my life over to a higher power and just see what happens. And so every day I'd hit my knees in the morning, and I would thank God for another day, and turn my will and my life over, and go and start my day. I still do that today. Hitting the knees part isn't always what happens, more like hitting the ground running, but I pray every morning, every night, and all through the day. The steps are something that I have to continue to work every single day of my life. And I do not do it perfectly. I don't even do it close to perfectly. I mess up a lot, and I see my disease in other areas of my life sober. Brent always says I'm addicted to more. He doesn't say that I'm addicted to more. He says in general, we're addicted to more. And that is the truth. I have a terrible shopping problem. Ridiculous. Yeah, I said it. I do, and it can be very unmanageable when it's affecting other areas in my life, and it's not fair to the other people in my life because everything is all about me. That's not okay. So there's so much work to be done, but I don't feel the need to pick up a drink today, and that's just because there's not. I can't tell you exactly why or what. I just threw myself into this and loved every single minute of it and took this for the gift that it truly is and wake up and love the day regardless of what's going on. Today I work in recovery. I started in October of 22. I became a certified peer recovery coach for the Jay County Drug Prevention Coalition, and I did that for a couple years, and just this past January I took a supervisor role for the IRAX program, which is a program that we take into the Jay County Jail, and so I get to do that today, and that is a huge blessing. I do this work all day long, and sometimes that's a lot too, and I have to fill myself back up. I can't pour from an empty cup, and it's so important for me to take care of myself, and I do that today too, because all I did for a really long time was poison my body, literally, just junk. I didn't eat, all I did was drink, and I almost died from it, and so today it's very important for me to take care of this life that I've been given, again, another chance. I didn't want my old life back. It's not like, oh, I want to get my life back. No, I wanted a new life, and I've been picked up and placed in this new life, and things aren't always great, but I have a program today that allows me, it works in all areas of my life, and allows me to handle any problem that comes my way. And it may not be the solution right away, and I may not figure that out right away, but I can work through it, and I have people that I can call, and I have the steps to get through things. I just was talking to Jim yesterday at Pine Lake about a situation with work, a real sad situation, and I'm reminded of things like anger is a dubious luxury for me. I was mad about a sentencing at work, and I was really angry, and that thought came into my head. And that comes from this program. I was taught that in here. I can't afford to be angry for very long. Anger is okay. I can feel my feelings, and that's fine. But I got to do something with it because resentment's the number one offender. I was taught that in here, and it will get me drunk. I have found a way through step 4 and 5, to forgive. And sometimes when things pop back up, and I think, man, I thought I forgave them for that. I'm able to practice forgiveness. I've been taught that a lot. There's a guy in Portland meetings who talks about practicing things, practicing acceptance, even when you're not feeling it. And I have a really big God today that I have faith and trust in. I came to believe. I learned that in here too. July 29th will be a 2-year anniversary of the day that my brother passed away from a fentanyl overdose after 5 years of sobriety. He used for about a week, from what we can tell in text messages, or maybe a few days. and it killed him. And I have a niece and nephew who's almost 17 and 15 that lost their dad at the same age that my brother and I lost our mom. I'm able to show up for them today, and I'm able to do that sober. I'm able to be a mother figure to them when their mom travels for work, because she does a lot. I'm able to go down there, and they even tell me that I'm like their second mom. I get to play mom for a week with them, and it is a huge blessing. And I couldn't do any of those things if I were drunk. I was diagnosed in 21 with uterine cancer, which was the final closure on the fact that I was never going to have children. I was about 42 years old, so the chances were, slim, but it was a thought, and I probably would have tried. But I think God did for me what I couldn't do for myself there either. Because very quickly, when I thought maybe I could do this, I got this diagnosis, and I had to have a hysterectomy. And maybe that saved me from a lot of pain of trying and anguish too. I don't know. I don't believe today that it's part of my punishment. I got through it, and I had a surgery, and I get checked every 6 months, and I'm almost 5 years past, so I'm almost free and clear of that. We caught it very, very early, because I advocate for myself today in health areas. I do those things. I show up for me because I love me today, and I learned that in here. You guys loved me back to life. Life is good today, and I sponsor women, even outside of my job, because my job can't be my recovery. There's part of it that, yes, obviously it helps and it works, but I need to be working these steps alongside of somebody, and so I do that. I just so happens when I get one done, one will just kind of pop up at a Portland meeting and need a sponsor, and I am able to have those one-on-one talks and step work and things, and I'm blessed, and I'm about over on time, but I love you guys, and keep coming back. I pass.
I'm Joni. I'm an alcoholic. As she said, we're at the top of the hour, but I really think if we watch our time and keep it short, and if you want to say something quick and share, and I'm sure Sarah will stay out after the meeting. And if you want to share privately with her too, I'm sure she would be good with that. This is what I believe today. My higher power puts people in my life that keep me sober and that help me live this life. And I know for a fact Sarah is one of those people, as of many others. So if I do the next right thing, then God can do what he needs to and put the people in place that can help me. And with that, I'm going to open up the floor.
Thanks, Jen.
I'm Brent.
Hey, Brent.
Good job, Sarah. Glad to have met you and been a big part of your journey. I'm sure God wanted us to be together. Lord knows he needed you help for more shopping. So there's that. I love you.
Thanks, Brent.
I just want to say that.
Yes.
I'll talk to the back of your chair.
I'll turn around, but I'm sorry.
Well, every time I hear you, it's, you're on a higher plateau.
Yeah.
And it's wonderful to see. Now, I was thinking, I don't know, 50 years from now, we're going to be talking about, well, when I came in, there was Sarah, and you're going to be a legend. Thank you.
Thanks, Wes. I'm Jennifer, Recovery alcoholic. Sarah, this is the second time that I've heard your story, and I just want to thank you for giving it and for touching on some something that I don't believe that you did the last time. Sometimes it's hard for us to open up about things in our lives, and but you know, like you said, we do it because we help. We keep what we have by giving it away, but we're also meant to help other people. So I know that we don't see each other a lot, you know, but my first meet was with the New Year's party out there at Kevin's, you know, and it was just a really great time. It was a great night for me. It was my first thing sober, you know, and I just think you're a wonderful woman. You're very strong, and, you know, you inspire me to just keep pushing forward because, you know, you've been through a lot of things, and I just really appreciate you, and you're just beautiful to me, and thank you for sharing.
Thank you.
I'm Andrew, recovering alcoholic.
Andrew.
I want to thank you, sir. I always enjoy seeing you guys come to the meeting. I've just got a lot out of your stories, and just thanks a lot.
Thanks, Andrew.
I'm Steve, alcoholic.
Hi,
Steve?
Wow, what a lead. I've heard it before. I've heard your lead before, Sarah, but this one was better than the last one. Whenever that was. Seriously. One part, there was so much you touched on that I relate to, but the one part that I got was about your health. And I know the program is important and everything, but you got to realize one thing. If you don't take care of yourself, your health and everything, what good are you going to be to somebody else in the program?
Right.
That's what you have to do.
Yeah.
And that's very important. But again, you touched on a lot of stuff. I'm glad things are good for you. And that's all I've got.
Thanks, Steve.
Thank you, Steve.
Christy Alcoholic.
Hey, Christy.
Christy.
Hi. So I just want to thank you for the lead. I really needed this meeting tonight because I've been down, and everybody knows I relapsed, and I'm ashamed of myself, but you touched on a lot of things on your story about, you know, not loving yourself. And I was going with like the thugs and this and that, and that's my problem. I have to learn to love myself, and, you know, I was almost 8 months clean, and I just started hanging out with the wrong people, and, but I'm glad I came tonight because I met my daughter, my granddaughter, and I'm lucky I'm not in jail. You know, I got a second chance at life. So I really appreciate your lead, Sarah, and thank you. Thank you, Christy.
My name's Tom, and I'm alcoholic.
Oh.
Hey, I'm going to let Katie go.
Oh, sure, go ahead.
Yeah, I just wanted to say real quick, because I thought about just the, you know, the tokens that were given. Congratulations to everybody, by the way, and then just the way that your story touched. And you're one of the miracles I look to in the program. When I see so many people come in and they leave, and I'm just like, dude, stick around like Sarah, or stick around like this one. You know, there have been ones of us that I think we were given that gift of desperation. I don't know, like for me, I was just crushed enough. And so I'm reminded of something else another friend tells us is, you know, that's how you want people, is like in pain and in tears. And I remember you being there. I remember you just finally getting so fed up and watching the pain and more pain come. And then finally, you took that pain as your buy-in and you put it towards this thing. And you never looked back. And it's been a gift for me to watch you do that. And to kind of grow alongside you, because I was pretty new, and we kind of came in around the same time, and just to, you know, see one another through those early years, and yeah, for you just now to be such a powerhouse in the program. It's easy, I think, sometimes to see somebody give a really great lead, and like, wow, she's such a great speaker, and just, you know, we're just wowed by some people. But to see that person's pain and the process, and to see the way that you continue to show up and work, it wasn't like you just got it easy. It wasn't like you just, hey, I'm going to be sober today, and I'm going to be a really great speaker and an inspirational lady in AA. Like, that's not how it happens. You're pretty bloody and bruised and snotty and crying, and it's ugly for a while. So, yeah, it's just an encouragement to me to remember that the people that we see coming in like that early on, or back from a relapse or whatever, that's the miracle that we're looking for. So that's all. Thanks.
Thanks.
My name's Tom, I'm an alcoholic.
Hey,
So
Tom.
I want to thank you a lot. I love your lead. I love Brent. I go home, and since I record him, I go home and I listen to him listen to your lead. I'll listen to your lead several times a night. I just want you to know, it's good.
Thanks,
Thank
Tom.
you, Tom.
Any friend? Whoa, hold on.
Jim, I'm not, just real quick.
Hi, Jim.
Thank you, Sarah, you did good. I knew you'd find the right voice. I think it's, I can see that you thought you were struggling with that a little bit, but I think it's definitely that, sometimes you speak some of our best things are out of some, dark places, some pain that's been through and like this, I think you found your voice. And thanks for sharing with us that, your work in progress and stuff on those, went wrong. And at least, you'll have the right shoes for them.
Thank you, Jim.
Thanks.
Kevin, I'm now calling. Kevin, thanks, Sarah. I know this story, and, I watched a lot of it, as it was developing, and, we've had a lot of fun together, camping trips and road trips and all the other trips that we've been through, and, it's just wonderful to see what sobriety can do. And I'm so glad that you're my friend. You guys have been very special to me, you and Brent both. And I always keep close to my heart. And you're very special, so thank you for being my friend.
Thanks. How about any friends on the phone line have a quick comment? Okay then, let's circle up and we'll start Sarah, would you be on?
Who splits the rivers and saves our livers? Coming back, it works if you work it. Wonder working. Big Jen and Bob too. And then something I left there now.
There's 4 of us in here.
There's going to be a young lady on the line for the first time. Thank you. And she just lost her birthday. Yeah, and I really like her kind of person, but she's my neighbor's father.
Oh, Wayne.
Good to meet you.
Good to see you.
Hey, Wayne.
How we doing?
Good.
See you.
About 4 storms.
Everybody.
You did 3 tenths? Oh, you did a lot better Rule number 2.
Hi, Mindy.
Hi, Kevin, how are you?
Good, how are you?
Keep
Good.
Art, Lindy, and then it would pull up my calendar. About an hour later, and get it done about 3 or 4 times.
I gotta get this.
All right, I'll do
Some people
it.
are north, south.
Bye.
Cindy called me twice. Where's my phone?
You get a shit chance, I'm on days.
Hey, Sarah, how are you?
Sun yesterday, huh?
Yeah.
What about me?
Hey.
I think Gavin took the morning off.
Did you do it, jump off?
Yeah, apparently
I
about
got
four
there one year and
or
then.
5 people jumped off our
Kidding.
30 footer.
I thought I could do it.
I did it on the 20-foot and Jalen pushed me in.
Oh, really?
Hi, Wayne.
I was also.
Good. No, Brian? You know me?
I was also.
Nice to see you.
Either way.
Hi, Brad. Hi, John.
Hey, Ron.
Hello. Nice to see you.
Good to see you.
The jumping off point.
I woke up this morning and I was like, slept at work.
That's how it works, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, I am, Wayne, don't lie. You're only as old as
I don't feel the need to jump off any time.
you are old.
Hey, Sarah, can I record you?
Sure.
Undefeated.
You're welcome.
On the racing slide against Joni and Paul, who was playing for
I think maybe it's supposed to get
declared himself champion.
80s maybe.
So I was able to dethrone him
It's a little hard.
after I quit a long time.
It was so hot today.
You ever been
Day, but it was close.
over the Skyway Bridge when the old Skyway Bridge, first Carly ever fans were still up there?
No. No, I don't think so. It's when did the Skyway Bridge go?
That was,
When did they put that up?
the new one? I think they have a new one open,
70s, 80s?
in the late 70s.
Birds.
So, because I didn't do anything with the Gulf Coast
Oh.
and the Gulf side until I was probably my 30s, 40s.
Hey.
Hello. When we were kids, we always went down, and that's how I went straight
Are you?
to the
I think everybody is a little bit.
Well, before they took the old span down, the upper part of the span,
Right.
and officially,
Really,
because
Sarah?
they already had it open for fishing streets, they were officially
Right.
the bait station on the end and all that. We used to always go out there and go fishing. But we had a rope ladder, we
I don't think we
tie
got
it on
these.
the rail and head down to the water from the flat part of it.
Yeah.
So when it got that tide, you didn't want to jump in.
Any more is on your,
Yeah, first is we got to see.
When it got tide, we jumped into the water. Well, they had a fence
you
at
know,
the end, and just when the
that was not
upper span,
frustrating.
you can climb over. You can climb over
I don't have my glasses on.
A little bit.
where the break was.
Uh-huh.
So,
The way the sealed
what
road
is
is,
it? I have
was
Yeah.
not set up right. Today'd be
I know,
crazy.
it's not out pretty good.
I got this for like 3 years.
When you get it today,
Yeah, I think it's one of the things where she looked at the price and
I'll buy whatever I need to buy.
unfortunately ended up, the setup,
I would ask you, because I didn't know where you were
pump
going.
system that you needed to order.
All this makes
They
sense.
got some kind of fancy. Yeah, but I didn't know where you were going, so I was like,
Yeah, it was
some kind of fancy water. Where do you
This is
live?
all
I
our
love
minutes
that.
ago.
This is
Here it is, go.
This is
I
good
love her so
today.
much. She goes to my church.
So
She
what I did, I
but,
went
she
through
told me
mine,
that she
come
did a trip
back
down
and
to Florida one
find
time. Her and
Then
two
they
guys
buy
all
one
went.
burger on
And
the
they were sitting in the car drinking whatever. They got this guy out here that both get tattoos.
You never
And
been
they went to
This
go
is
get
pretty
one.
easy to do.
And
It's a great
she
way to
chickened out, but
maintain
she
the
told
flow.
Dot, she said, you go first and then I know I'll be great enough to do it, you know? So Dot ended up getting one, but Judy never got hers. And she just got a little flower on her foot.
Well, you didn't tell me Jerry was
I was sad when I was 60,
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
I turned 60.
Well,
Oh, yeah.
but
Yeah.
It's never too
I'm
late.
used to it.
Well, Jeremy, grab
More of a winter person, but I can take the heat.
Yeah.
a shell.
Not much, not.
I do the winter like that.
We got out there.
Like an ingrass shell.
Yeah.
An Astro.
Yeah.
Those look pretty slick.
Me and Marcia had one probably about 5 years ago, 6 years ago.
Hey, honey, you want a diet there?
I don't mean to make something not serious. I just want to
I just kind of, I kind of walked into that.
float around.
The guy that I was working with, I do work with him, and he bought it.
I know.
It was his mom.
Trust me, I know all about it.
And then he had
She
it,
bring baked
well,
beans? Yeah.
as he got into the middle of it, he bought like a covered trailer.
I'm thinking it was her.
He bought a covered trailer and he didn't think that Astro van was headed.
The
in
flower, the
that.
flower was in her big beans, and those things were beside it.
Just so happened that the van I had,
Oh, really?
It's not very bad.
he said, well, I've got that Astro, he said.
This just doesn't look like.
Hey, Dawn, how you doing?
Jump on that. Oreo pretty.
I did not. I haven't tried this thing yet.
He said, it's got 68,000. He said, it's got 68,000 miles on it, and he said, I thought I had 4 miles. And I said, I told you what, he said, well, you can do that, or he said, so you can work it out. He said, a couple weeks.
He said it was right in there.
Hello, you talking to me?
It was his.
And they're draining and burning. And I said, well, it's starting to turn back. 300.
Too big. She couldn't see.
You guys know what?
Trees,
He
so.
said, no,
I
we
did
got
that at my daughter's house.
See, I got that, my dad, he works for the guy that is. So he does.
Well, your mother was already.
Two times.
Yeah, you better off staying back. I know more about
I got a thousand miles on it. The guy that owns that house, and I said, yeah, you better know this. Well, my son knows it now.
We still need more though. We still need much more.
That was just enough.
Some is better than, yeah, amen.
Okay. Done.
Yeah, we can.
Hey.
Yeah.
So what hurt that?
Hey Sharon. Everybody's kind of busy right now. I didn't even know about this group.
Yeah.
I mow weeds.
Yeah,
Grass is grow weeds.
Yeah, I got good text.
That's all I
Sharon was talking to somebody on there, calling for you.
Hi, friends. Sorry. Hey. I got you, bro. I got you. I'm in the back room. Before we get underway here. Hey, I forgot to tell you too. I forgot to tell you, Jen. You don't have to talk about the okay? Because at the very end there. Okay, that's all good, girl. That sounds great, okay? Uh-huh. Sorry, who was that? Good. Good work. Welcome. Where are you from? All right, we're going to get started here in a minute, okay? Okay, and when you're not talking, otherwise we get background noise, okay? Okay, thank you. Sorry, who was that? I'm good. Okay, if my phone friends can make sure they're muted, we're going to start the meeting, okay? Hey guys, I'm giving you a 10-second warning. Warning 10, 9, 8, 7. Hi, Jen. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2. I did this in second grade. 1. Okay, great. Thanks, Ryan. Hey, everybody. My name's Joni, and I am an alcoholic. Welcome to the Fort Recovery Group of Alcoholics Anonymous. Would you please help me open this meeting with the Serenity Prayer? God, grant me the strength to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. And with that, I ask my friend to share the preamble with us.
I'm Andrew, recovering alcoholic. AA and Alcoholics Anonymous is a fellowship of people who share their experience, strength, and hope with each other that they may solve their common problems and help others recover from alcoholism. The only requirement for membership is a desire to stop drinking. There are no dues, fees, for AA membership. We are self-supporting through our own contribution. AA is not allied with any sect, denomination, politics, organization, or institution. Does not wish to engage in any controversy. Neither endorses nor opposes any causes. Our primary purpose is to stay sober and help other alcoholics to achieve sobriety.
Thank you, Mr. Andrew. And then I have a friend that's going to share how it works with us.
I'm Ryan, I'm an alcoholic.
Hey, Ryan.
Rarely have we seen a person fail who has thoroughly followed our path. Those who do not recover are people who cannot or will not completely give themselves to this simple faith. Usually men and women who are constitutionally incapable of being honest with themselves. They are such unfortunates. They are not at fault. They seem to have been born that way. They are naturally incapable of grasping and developing a manner of living which demands rigorous honesty. Their chances are less than average. There are those, too, who suffer from grave emotional and mental disorders, but many of them do recover if they have the capacity to be honest. Our stories disclose, in a general way, what we used to be like, what happened, and what we're like now. If you have decided you want what we had and are willing to go to any length to get it, then you are ready to take certain steps. At some of these we thought we could find an easier, softer way. With all the earnestness of our command, we beg of you to be fearless and thorough from the very start. Some of us have tried to hold on to our old ideas, and the result was wrong, so we let go absolutely. Remember that we deal with alcohol, cunning, babbling, powerful. Without help, it is too much for us, but there is one who has all power. That one is God. May you find him now. Half measures avail us nothing. Instead of a turning point, we ask his protection and care with complete abandon. Here are the steps we took, which are suggested as a program of recovery. 1. We admitted we were powerless over alcohol, that our lives had become unmanageable. 2. Came to believe that a power greater than ourselves could restore us to sanity. 3. Made a decision to turn our will and our lives over to the care of God as we understood it. 4. Made a searching and fearless moral inventory of ourselves. 5. Admitted to God, to ourselves, and to another human being the exact nature of our wrongs. 6. We're entirely ready to have God remove all these defects from character. 7. Humbly asked him to remove our shortcomings. 8. Made a list of all persons we had harmed and became willing to make amends to them all. 9. Made direct amends to such people wherever possible, except when to do so would injure them or others. 10. Continued to take personal inventory, and when we were wrong, promptly admitted it. 11. Sought through prayer and meditation to improve our conscious contact with God as we understood him, praying only for knowledge of his will for us and the power to carry that out. 12. Having had a spiritual awakening as a result of these steps, we try to carry this message to alcoholics and to practice these principles in all of our affairs. Many of us exclaim, "What more? I can't go through with it." Do not be discouraged. No one among us has been able to maintain anything like perfect adherence to these principles. We are not saints. The point is that we are willing to grow along spiritual lines. The principles we have set down are guides to progress. We claim spiritual progress rather than spiritual perfection. Our description of the alcoholic, the chapter to the agnostic, and our personal adventures before and after make clear 3 pertinent ideas. A. That we were alcoholic and could not manage our own lives. B. That probably no human power could have relieved our alcoholism. And C. That God could.
Wayne has the promises.
Wayne alcoholic.
Wayne.
DAA promises. 1. If we are painstaking about this phase of our development, we will be amazed before we are halfway through. 2. We are going to know new freedom and a new happiness. 3. We will not regret the past nor wish to shut the door on it. 4. We will comprehend the word serenity and we will know peace. 5. No matter how far down the scale we have gone, we will see how our experience can benefit others. 6. That feeling of uselessness and self-pity will disappear. 7. We will lose interest in selfish things and gain interest in our fellows. 8. Self-seeking will slip away. 9. Our whole attitude and outlook upon life will change. 10. Fear of people and economic insecurity will leave us. 11. We will intuitively know how to handle situations which used to baffle us. 12. We will suddenly realize that God is doing for us what we could not do for ourselves. Are these extravagant promises? They are being fulfilled among us, sometimes quickly, sometimes slowly. They will always materialize if we work for them.
Thanks. And somebody has a daily reflection.
Tom.
Tom. Head your way.
All right. I'm Tom. I'm an alcoholic. Humility is a gift. As long as we place self-reliance first, a genuine reliance upon higher power without a question. The basic ingredients of all humility, a desire to seek and do God's will, is missing. 12 Steps, 12 Traditions, page 72. When I first came to AA, I wanted to find some of the elusive quality called humility. I didn't realize I was looking for humility because I thought it would help me get what I wanted, and that I would do anything for others if I thought God would somehow reward me for it. I try to remember now that the people I meet in the course of my day are as close to God as I ever going to
get while on this earth. I need to pray for knowledge of God's will today and see how my experience with hope and pain can help with people. If I can do that, I don't need to search for humility. It has found me.
Thank you. And Jim has the 24-hour day book.
Jim, I'm an alcoholic. Hey everybody, July 13th, AA talk of the day. 4 alcoholics can come into AA. They are applying bluntly, but AA gives them a directed beam in the AA program. As long as they keep on this beam, the signal of sobriety keeps coming through. If they have a slip, the signal is broken. If they swing off course in drunkenness, the signal stops. Unless they regain the AA direction of being, they're in danger of crashing against a mountain peak of despair. On the beam, the meditation for the day is be expectant, constantly expect better things. Believe that what God has in store for you is better than anything you've ever had before. The way to grow old happily is to expect better things right up to the end of your life, and even beyond that. A good life is a growing, expanding life with ever-widening horizons and an ever greater circle of friends and acquaintances, and an ever greater opportunity for usefulness. The prayer for the day is, I pray that I may awake with complete faith for the next good day in store for me. I pray that I may always keep an expectant attitude towards life. Amen.
And just get back to Brent there because he's going to read from As Thou Seest.
Brent, alcoholic. Page 178. Down to earth. Those of us who have spent much time in a world of spiritual make-believe have eventually seen the childishness of it. This dream world has been replaced by a great sense of purpose, accompanied by a growing consciousness of the power of God in our lives. We have come to believe He would like us to keep our heads in the clouds with Him, but our feet ought to be firmly planted on earth. That is where the travelers are, and that is where our work must be done. These are the realities for us. We have found nothing incompatible between the powerful spiritual experience and a life of sane and happy usefulness.
Morning, Brent.
Thanks, Brent. Announcements. So the big announcement is over. Pine Lake for 1 more year. And I just want to say thanks for showing up yesterday, and if you didn't get the opportunity to be there, there's next year, because it was really cool to see a bunch of alcoholics with their families living this life sober, and it was just awesome. So we have fun in this program, and we are not a glum lot, as they say. There are announcements, and my friend Wes, he usually knows all kind of shit. So I'm going to let him maybe share what he knows about things coming up, because there's a lot of fun things coming up.
First one, I think, is August 8th, which is the anniversary for the new Bremen Noon meeting, Wednesday, Friday meeting. It's on a Friday. Show up at 11:30 for pizza and water and coffee. Yeah, whatever sweet somebody brings in. And then they have just 30 minutes of eating as fast as you can, so that you start the meeting at noon. Have a regular meeting at noon. Then there's an anniversary at Russell's Point that I think you know about.
Yeah, I'm Jen. August 16th is the 14th anniversary for the Indian Lake Group. The doors open at 5, dinner at 6, lead at 7. Bring a petition.
Thanks, Jen.
Thanks, Jen.
Got it?
Further out on the calendar, is September 13th is the district family outing at Casey Geiger Park. I think people arrive at, we have the park from noon, and we'll arrive and set up and eat it to 12:30. There's free miniature golf
much fun we are? Yeah.
We're not
A lot of fun.
fun.
That's right. Okay,
Thanks, Wes.
thanks, Wes. Then I have Kevin, my friend Kevin over here, who's gonna give out tokens this evening.
I'm Kevin, I'm an alcoholic. And Fort Recovery Group here has a token system. We like to recognize different things in sobriety. And the first token that we have is a 24-hour token. Anybody here for the first meeting or the first meeting since their last drink?
All right. Oh,
Keep coming back. Okay, then we have monthly tokens. We have 1 through 11 months.
I'm Jen, I'm an alcoholic.
again,
4 months today.
Give you a big orange line, yeah. You just keep coming back too. Okay, we're on a roll here, so I think our next token is 1 year. Anybody have 1 year?
I think we're.
What do you mean? You get the purple one. 9 months. Good job. Hey! Now let's move to 1 year. Okay, how about 18 months? Okay, then we have multiple years afterwards. Does anybody have an anniversary, or would anybody like to have any time they'd like to have recognized today? Yeah.
I have 5 years.
You need a token? Yeah?
yeah, you.
Get the big ones out.
Yeah, we're getting into the heavy metal. I hope. Let me see here. That one. I got one here.
That one?
Yep, I got one. B, right?
Yeah.
Here we go.
Thank you.
Hey.
Way to go, David.
Does anybody have any time they'd like to have recognized today?
I'm Sarah, and I'm an alcoholic. This past Thursday the 10th, I had 6 years.
All right.
I lost the minutes of the lady in Ohio. You need it one more. I was gonna have it, bring it, pass it around, but I don't know where I put it.
That's it. Here you go. Thanks.
I'm gonna try this one more time. Any length sobriety anybody wants recognized today?
Last night I picked up my 9 months.
All right. Anybody else?
Tomorrow is my 5 month.
All
Not tonight,
If you
Fred.
don't think this program works, this shows you this program works. So let's give ourselves a hand.
Okay, well, all right, back there on the table, you're gonna find loose leaf literature, and you're free to take that loose leaf literature with you and read that. There are also books for at the cost that the group pays for them. You can see, any of us will direct you to a book or somebody that can help you with that. And if you don't have the money, I used to have a friend who put you on the penny a meeting plan, and you'll be coming back for a long time to get it paid off. And let's see, we have phone schedules, so you can never have too many numbers. So we can pass a phone schedule around tonight. If you would like a phone schedule, if you want to raise your hand, I can get that out tonight. Anybody? Christine? Okay. Anybody else need a phone schedule? What?
We need one for the ladies going around. Right, you mean like a meeting schedule and put phone numbers on?
Yeah, a meeting schedule for phone numbers. Yes.
For ladies, we'll take that out, or just any others.
All right, anybody else?
You wanna go give them to the guys too?
All right, good deal. All right. Sounds good. All right, we're gonna go around the room and introduce ourselves, because the phone people can't see you and you can't see them, so. Here we go.
I'm Haley.
Hi, Haley. I see David. David. Gavin.
Don, alcoholic.
Don. Jason, alcoholic.
Jason, Christy, alcoholic. Christy, Karina, supporter.
Jalen Junior, he's an alcoholic.
Jalen Junior and Katie.
I'm Fred, I'm alcoholic.
Fred. Don.
Steve alcoholic.
Steve.
Jennifer, recovering alcoholic.
Jennifer.
Andrew, recovering alcoholic.
Andrew. Jared.
West alcoholic.
Wes.
Tom, alcoholic.
Tom.
Jen, alcoholic.
Jen.
Sarah, alcoholic.
Sarah.
Jim alcoholic.
Jim. Al.
Kevin, I'm alcoholic.
Kevin. Wayne.
I'm Ryan, I'm an alcoholic.
Brian.
Mindy, alcoholic.
Mindy. Okay. Now I'm gonna go to the phone and ask you to unmute and introduce yourself and then mute back up. Okay, here we go.
Jill alcoholic.
Hi, Jill.
Hey, Jill. Jenna Haddock.
Hi, Jenna.
Hi, Jen.
I'm Sharon, recovering alcoholic.
Sharon.
Travis Haddock.
Travis.
Travis.
Okay.
Tina, alcoholic.
Tina.
Hi, Tina.
Okay, if you guys could make sure you're muted, that would be awesome. And tonight we are doing a lead meeting. I'll try to get through this without starting to cry already. So, the lady that's going to do the lead this evening is someone that has become very, very special to me. I was told in this program not to get too close because they said, you know, don't get personal. Well, I'm not that kind of person. I can't do that. So anyways, part of the reason is I got to watch this lady's miracle unfold right in front of me. And I have found that is probably one of the greatest blessings of this program is to get to share in people's journey and in their miracle. And let me just tell you, this lady is a freaking miracle. And she has shown me how to stay sober, and I don't know who helps who more. And sometimes I don't know who's sponsoring who. So, with that, I give you Sarah.